Since the dawn of humans, there have always been two types of traders. Some take it slow, saving up for years and years before they finally start investing. And when they begin losing money with stocks, they slowly see options as their only way to make back their losses. At first they resist the temptation, but after months of losses they give in. And then there are the select few who want to plunge into the deepest depths of the market, progressing from being completely new to stocks to biostocks to options at incredible speeds. But first, it is my honor to present to you a trader who goes by the name of Ito1907, and he did something truly incredible. You always hear about traders turning thousands into hundreds of thousands, and most agree that getting to that first $100,000 is the hardest. But what about getting to that first $1,000 or $5,000 for that matter? Most traders start with account sizes immensely higher than this, but most people simply can't afford to start with thousands. And here's where this trader's journey begins, with a measly $151. It took him just 3 months to multiply his account by more than 34 times and getting it to $5,225.41. So what's his secret? Well, there is no secret. Just be stupid with options. More specifically, Tesla options, or actually just puts. No, but in all seriousness, he's saying that you should try to lose money first and build a strategy with it. And if that's true, this next trader who goes by the name of No Vehicle 3016 should have developed one hell of a strategy by now, because he finally lost all his savings, 98.96% or $201,063.58, as he is left with just $2,112. And to make it worse, he didn't just lose his savings. No, he also lost his huge gain. He tried to play with risky investments and now he's devastated. He's wondering if he should quit investing in stocks, because you see, he's been saving for the last 8 years. During the COVID period, when he didn't have much work, he considered earning money for stocks and put all his money into trading. And he started off great as he made back his losses from the COVID drop very fast. And then his account literally exploded to the upside, reaching a peak of $341,721.27 on February the 15th, 2021. Till then, he only played mega cap FANG, but from the start of 2021, he started buying these small cap IPOs at their peaks, like BigCommerce, Skills, Wish, Alteryx, etc. And with 2021 making a record year for the number of new IPOs, and with those same stocks falling by an average of 14% in the 6 months following the IPO, it's no wonder that this strategy damaged his portfolio severely. But despite that, he still managed to hold his account near break-even for quite a while. And then, like many, he was tempted by greed, by an unstoppable force that like a black hole sucks in anyone hoping to make it out, hoping to make back their losses. And with that, he started an options game last year, which screwed it up big time. Now just remember that he's been saving for 8 years just for his account to continuously fall for 2 years straight. And to make it even more brutal, just this last week he lost 30k. But he's apparently not giving up. Now he's back to square one and he needs to start from scratch, which just makes him sound more and more addicted to what is, in his own words, actually investing. But he's sadly not the only one who thought he was worthy of this formidable weapon. Some extremely talented individuals just can't stop losing even when they try again and again for years. As trader who goes by the name of W. Shea lost all his money on his third account. He has finally lost hope and he might not trade again. Options have killed him as he's 250k in the hole, but as you'll soon find out, that's just the tip of the iceberg of his stupidity. His journey starts 5 years ago with, yes, a loss. But he initially made about $3,000 of profit on some tech stocks, and then he bought oil stocks when it felt it would increase, but it dipped and the company he invested in went for a merger and lost 30% of its value, making him an $8,000 loss. Now at that point he still wasn't playing with options, but he was thinking about investing in the next best thing, biostocks. More specifically, buying biostocks before FDA approval dates, and that's the earliest sign of his gambling tendencies. But here's the thing, he was still thinking about it and he could have changed his mind. But just a couple of days later he apparently bought $10,000 worth of shares of a bought stock with a ticker symbol of AMRN, and he somehow bought at the perfect time because he already made 30% in a single week. Now he did actually realize that the FDA approval date was in late December of 2019 and the stock could lose the gains if there was any negative headline for the next week. We sadly don't know whether he sold or held, but ever since that post the stock has just been violently dropping. But at about the same time he was also invested in ETNB, another bio stock on which he was also up, this time by 40%. But he watched it tank and he couldn't do anything since his shares were not settled yet. And just 3 days later he saw the potential of options, or rather hoped to see it, because he lost 2k in 3 days and counting. He bought 15 stocks in his portfolio, which was unmanageable as he was leaking money from everywhere. Most were dip buys, but they just continued dipping more and more. And just to give you the clue of how reckless he is, this whole progression from being absolutely new to stocks to jumping to bio stocks and then finally to options happened in a span of just 2 months. But even though he picked up options, they weren't going to stop him from playing with bio stocks, because just a couple of days later he said that he has like 10k shares of CORV. And take a look at this supreme strategy. He was just hoping that the FDA meeting doesn't make it dip another 40%, but he had a feeling that it might go down the drain, and he was at least partially right, because the stock did drop, but it dropped by 60% in the pre-market instead of 40%. So at that point he didn't think his shares were worth more than a piece of shit. But at least he learned to never touch a bio stock before the FDA vote, especially when the panel is divided. But I have to give it to him, he at least had one great hunch. On February the 9th, about 2 weeks before the stock market started violently dropping due to COVID, he was thinking about selling all the stocks in his profile and keep it as a cash account. But we don't know if he executed on what could have been one of his best trades ever. But I'm guessing he did make a gain, because about 9 months later he did something we haven't seen in a while. He took out a 401k loan of about 20k to average down on a stock in which he's experiencing heavy losses, about 25k. His savings account only had about 10k left and his investment portfolio had about 95k, including the 20k he took out for a loan. At the time his 401k had about 58k, he was 33 years old and he lost 40k during his first 2 years of trading. And about 3 years later, here we are, 130k plus 30k last year plus this, a 98% or a $36,000 loss in just 3 months, leaving him with about $600. Otherwise, he lost about 150k in the first year, 50k in the second year, and another 50k in the third year. With a 100k loss in recent call options and some loans to cover his gambling addiction, he still has a 150k job, but he's thinking about getting a second one. But at least he has quit trading until he has a house deposit and some money put aside. He will have a 250k loss to write off any gains in the future, but given his history he doubts if he'll ever make any gains. With over-leveraged positions and no idea of risk management, he finally understands why people buy ETFs and invest in mutual funds. But it looks like he can't stop, because shortly after he lost the $600 plus another 3k. But there are always some that actually know what's going to happen, or at least think they do. One such trader goes by name of Cyramp, and he made 100k in a single day on Nvidia puts. And looking at his account size, you'd think he just went in with about $100,000 and just doubled it. But that's simply not the case. He bought Nvidia puts on 2 different accounts, but all of the puts had an expiration date on April the 19th. On his 401k he bought 20 contracts a day before for just $1,173, and he sold them for about $57,515. On his Roth account he bought puts in March for about $8,000 and sold them for $46,000, making him a combined gain of a bit over $100,000 in a day. But how did he know Nvidia would drop by 10% on the 19th? Well, he's followed Nvidia for a long time, and when the stock went too high too quickly, it reminded him of NFT hype. You just can't sustain it. And once it started to fall enough to where it was clear to him that it was on a downtrend, but early enough that people still thought it was going to moon, he knew he made the right trade. And last but not least, I present to you a trader who's been losing money every day since 2020. He goes by name of Matt's cards and he just wants his money back, as he is down by 32% or about $45,000. And to be honest, this is a vastly smaller loss than what we've seen so far, but it's a bit different than the rest of them, because you see, he doesn't trade options. Everything was in crypto from the start, but he got banned from trading crypto on Robinhood in early 2023 when they updated their terms about depositing crypto into gambling websites. They forced him to sell everything, all because he wanted to play a few $100 blackjack online with some friends months before in 2020. So he sold all his crypto around February 2023, while he was holding about $50,000 in crypto at that time. And he's so mad because since his sale, crypto went straight up, and after his crypto fire sale, he pretty much bought a bunch of random stocks. He's had some pretty big spikes, mostly because he was just about all in on Inowix. It's been rough, but now he's holding a huge position in the same stock and has a few $1,000s here and there in some 20 random stocks. The $25,000 he has uninvested is old, just money he's been saving because he's actually terrified of putting any more money into anything. But at least he's smart enough to not throw the 25k on options, let alone ever trade options. It's just that he's constantly picking the wrong stocks at the wrong time. The more he buys, the lower it goes. And because the last time he sold everything and moved it to something else, the market took off and left him in the dust, he's not selling. He's holding until he gets his money back, and the only guidance he's seeking is for the remaining $25,000. And if you want to see the unhinged madness of WallStreetBets, click on the video that just popped up. If you like my content, make sure to subscribe, and thanks for watching.